More Super EZAs are on their way, but what does that mean for our timeline? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we are talking about the upcoming Super EZAs for the original Dokkan Fest, and when we might be expected to see them, and how it might help us to predict the upcoming timeline for the schedule on both Global and JP Dokkan, now knowing that there's a sync on the horizon. So let's go ahead and let's jump on in with the overview of the timeline, and then we'll go into why I think each one's going to happen where. So I believe the next Dokkan Fest to get their Super EZA will be the STR Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. The devs did tell us that they would try to go in order of release, so that's kind of why I think this is going to go the way it's going to go. So we'll start in April with Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, following in May with Full Power Frieza, Tech Cell in June. In July, I think we'll hit both Gohan and Kid Buu, and I'll explain why that is in a second, followed by Beerus in August. And now my only ringer here, and this is a placeholder, is Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta in December. Now, I know they did say they would attempt to do them in order, however, they've broken their rules before and done things their own way, and I think this could be a situation because I think the lineup is kind of setting up for something to happen during Worldwide, which we all believe to be where the full sync is supposed to happen. So let's go ahead and start with Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. So why do I think he's next? Well, he is obviously the next one after the Super Saiyan 3 Goku 2 release, right? Goku released in August, this dude released in September, and was the second to get his EZA following the Goku. Now, the thing about this dude's this dude coming up on his EZA next is, I know a lot of people are hoping that he would have been for like a major celebration when we get a new LR Broly, but it doesn't necessarily have to be surrounding that, right? We see that the Super Saiyan 3 Goku got his Super EZA during a Vegeta's family celebration. Now, you could say that that's kind of corollary to the fact that Saiyan Day is related to pure Saiyans, and I think that's what it is, right? He gets his EZA as the first EZA during Saiyan Day, not because he's related to Vegeta and Vegeta's family on Super Saiyans, but because he is a pure Saiyan. So that's why we're starting there, which means I believe the Dokkan Fest in April for JP Dokkan, mind you, may be some type of movie boss. Maybe a Dokkan Fest Lord Slug, who also leads movie bosses, in which case we will be able to see this Broly here get his EZA. It makes sense, not necessarily related to a new Broly. I mean, he'll work with the anniversary Broly, so not having a Broly on JP is really, I mean, it's a non-issue for them. They've already got a new Broly that will work well with this guy, so I think that's a very real possibility, which brings us to the next one in May, the Full Power Frieza. Now, this is an interesting one, but it does make sense. This guy getting his EZA, he was the next following Broly, right? So I do think he was the next one to get his following Broly, that is, I should say. So what I think that means is that he could end up getting his EZA during Golden Week. Golden Week could be a Namek Saga celebration, right? That makes a whole lot of darn sense, doesn't it? We get a Namek Saga celebration. A lot of people are thinking a dual Dokkan Fest like Kaioken Goku versus Final Form Frieza. It's long overdue for its celebration, and so EZA and this guy would make a whole lot of sense to do that. This is what I'm saying, right? You can begin to kind of see how the pattern starts to form if we start looking at these EZAs tied to the celebration. Now, it might not be that at all. Maybe it's a different theme altogether. Maybe it's a Demon King Piccolo versus Kid Goku, and Demon King Piccolo leads sworn enemies. Then this guy still kind of works on that. because he's kind of corollary to the category, right? It's not a perfect relation, but I think that in some way or another there is a relation with the release of the Dokkan Fest. Which brings us to the next one, June, right? Tech Cell getting his EZA. He was the next one after Full Power Frieza, right, in release order. So this is a tough one because I'm not really sure what celebration could fit this. The only thing I could think of, right, is if we get a new Cell Max, right? Cell Max doesn't currently have a card, but he didn't really make sense as like a hype LR, right? I mean, he's just not that big of a villain, right? I mean, he's just the only reason he exists is to give us Beast Gohan, right? So I don't really see him releasing as like a big LR celebration, but I could see him release as a monthly TUR, possibly as the same month that they release the Super EZA for this Tech Cell. Could also be something else, right? It could be an artificial life forms celebration that focuses on some other type of androids or just androids, right? Could be anything like that. And it would work for the Tech Cell. But, I mean, Cell Max would make kind of a lot of sense to have him as just kind of a quick villain TUR right before the Tanabata celebration. Speaking of the Tanabata celebration, you notice I placed both Ultimate Gohan and Kid Buu in July. Well, because that is in July for JP, that is the Tanabata celebration. Now, we could very much see Gohan and Kid Buu EZA here as part of a Majin Buu Saga themed Tanabata celebration. There's a lot they could do for that Tanabata. We could get a new standalone Vegeta, Vegeto rather, although I am kind of hoping that ends up being a, you know, I do hope that ends up being an LR for like Anniversary or Worldwide, but hey, I mean, maybe he just gets a standalone. Remember, one year we had Vegeto as part of Worldwide and then got Gogeta as the Tanabata LR. Maybe this year Vegeto gets it. Or maybe LR Kid Buu is the Tanabata LR and Vegeto is the Carnival LR Part 2. Who knows, right? I mean, it could be anything. Some type of Majin Buu Saga related. Could even be an LR Ultimate Gohan from the Majin Buu Saga. After all, Tech Ultimate Gohan is due up for his EZA. Him along with the Int Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Tech Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta are due up for an EZA as well, right? So those three could EZA along with these two for a big Tanabata celebration. I could definitely see that happening in July for these two. So I think we're on the right path. Then that leaves the August Dokkan Fest. This is a tough one, knowing that to plug in Beerus, right? If we look at some of Beerus's categories here, let's flip over. Where's Beerus at? Here he is, right? He doesn't have much, right? There's movie bosses. It could be another movie bosses. Realm of Gods, Siblings Bond, Worthy Rivals, Bond of Master and Disciple, Exploding Rage, Space Traveling Warriors, Planetary Destruction, right? It could be a Dokkan Fest Beerus and Whis, maybe, or a Dokkan Fest Champa, or a Dokkan Fest Whis. Whis doesn't have his own Dokkan Fest yet. Could be something like that, or anything Realm of Gods related could be the celebration in which he gets his EZA, right? I'm not saying it's a perfect correlation. There will be some connection there. Like with the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the connection to Saiyan Day is the pure Saiyans. Saiyan Day is always pure Saiyans, even if they aren't directly leading the category. So there's the relation there. So could be the same thing with the August Dokkan Fest. August Dokkan Fest is usually a throwaway Dokkan Fest in most cases anyways, so they could honestly just throw him there wherever. Now, where things tend to get confusing and even harder to plug in is this Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. And because if he goes in, if we follow this schedule, right, then he ends up in September. But I don't think he ends up in September. If we follow a regular monthly schedule where Gohan and Kid Buu aren't doubled up, which I think they will be, but if they aren't, we end up with Vegeta after Worldwide and Beerus part of Worldwide. And neither one of those schedules work. The only other schedule that could be possible is if they're only doing these during synced celebration, meaning we won't see the full force of them until we are fully synced in August. But then that still doesn't work for making something else happen. And the big thing that I think is going to happen with all of this, right? So this is why I think Vegeta, they might break their own rule and Vegeta might be moved to December. And that is because of these guys right here. I think they are building towards Gogeta and Janemba to get their Super EZA during Worldwide. I don't think that they are going to be at the anniversary time frame because there's just too far of a gap to fill in. They'll either be months without Super EZAs, right, where they're only doing it during sync celebrations. But even then, you wouldn't get, if they did it that way, we wouldn't get to Gogeta and Janemba but by the time we hit anniversary. And these are big names. These were the first Dokkan Fest anniversary units, right? So Gogeta and Janemba need the special treatment. They would need a special celebration to treat them as treat them as they are. So I think we could definitely see these guys EZA with their Super EZA during Worldwide celebration, meaning our Worldwide celebration could be related to movie heroes and movie bosses once again, much the way that anniversary this year was, right? Movie heroes got some major buffs during anniversary. So seeing a new Super Gogeta versus a new boss Janemba during Worldwide would be really good, especially if they end up working together, right? Like if he starts as like a fat Janemba or something, or starts as like a rage mode Janemba, like I don't know how they would work that out to make them work on the same team, but they definitely could. Or maybe like the Janemba has a domain that lets all Janembas link together. That would be insane, right? But either way, I do think that this is the build towards Worldwide. Could be like a fusions related thing, right? So one half could be Gogeta versus Janemba, and the other could be standalone Vegeta versus Buhan or LR Kid Buu or something. Who knows, right? However they do it, I just think that there is a correlation there. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I went over this schedule a bunch in my head, and this is what I kept settling on. I couldn't find another schedule that really worked for landing these two during the Gogeta and Janemba during a special celebration, right? I mean, otherwise, maybe they're just treating them as regular monthly things, and then, they'll get no special treatment, and Beerus ends up EZAing during Worldwide. They've done crazier things with EZAs. Remember, Fizz Beerus EZA during Tanabata last year with full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, which made absolutely no sense, but it could happen. So just wanted to throw that out there. But guys, that is it for our video. This is how I believe the schedule of Super EZAs is going to go down. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let me know, how do you think this is going to play out? Who do you think is going to EZA during the major celebrations? Do you think they're going to follow what they said and do it per month and in order? Or do you think they're going to mix things around to fit things more thematically? I think it's a little column A and little column B. I think they will follow the monthly schedule, which is helping us to predict a bit of the theme of what's coming up with the next Dokkan Fest. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.